Well, my first hike since my ill-fated not through hike. Hupt and I are heading up to David Logan Shelter to do shelter maintenance. So I thought we'd make a video, show you what it's like to be a shelter adopter on the Long Trail. So we're clearing a branch that is in the trail going up to the shelter, trying to make it a clear walk path for hikers coming up the New Boston Trail to get to the Long Trail. So the first part of the New Boston Trail is actually a snowmobile trail, and we're coming to one of the bridges on the snowmobile trail, so it's fairly easy walking. I mean, you're making a climb, but it's not a rough trail. As you can see, it's a fairly, by trail standards, a fairly smooth trail to hike on. Pretty soon we'll be making a turn into the woods to continue on the New Boston Trail up to David Logan. So, coming to the part of the trail where the ski trail, or snowmobile trail rather, turns off to the right. And you can see the sign up there for the New Boston Trail. Continuing on to David Logan Shelter and eventually to the Long Trail. So we reached the shelter. Tup's inside inspecting that right now. I am heading to the privy, and I'm bringing shavings that go in the privy. Got a message that they were all out. I wasn't able to make a trip up here this summer due to some knee issues I was having on my attempted through hike, and so haven't been up here since the end of April. So we've got some work to do. So here is the privy. These are where we put the shavings, which is unfortunately empty other than somebody put some trash in there. So, and to see how I brought them up, I used my old frame backpack that I haven't used in ages. Used a ratchet strap to hold it to the frame. So now we'll just put them in the container. So we've filled our barrel of shavings that we keep in here, and now I'm filling the bucket. It's so that the bucket is to keep closer to the toilet seat, so that folks can have easy access to it. And when the bucket is empty, the can is also in here, keeping the shavings dry, and can be refilled the bucket. This is the clean part of the job. Okay, the next part of maintaining a shelter is taking care of the privy. So this is a moldering privy. There's a big crib underneath the privy where all your waste matter goes, and it starts to pile up and form a little cone. So our job is to push that cone back further into this crib area so it has more time to decompose and doesn't reach the top of the toilet. So this just comes out, and you just push it back. This rake is only used for this. I do not take it home with me. I leave it here to work on. But as you can see, we've got quite a ways back in there that we can go. And the idea is, over time, this will break down. When this starts to fill, we will move, or the Green Mountain Club will move the seat over into the other cribs. So this has time to break down and decompose.
And this is what a ready-to-use tidy privy looks like. Floor's been swept, bowl is ready to be used, it's been cleaned. Both containers are full of shavings. Once the little one gets empty, you can come in, grab some more from here, fill it up for the next person. Greatly appreciated. The other thing, privies should have access to a broom that is in here, and if you happen to notice that there are shavings left behind on the floor or other debris that might be in here, go ahead and use that broom, sweep it out, make sure that it's placed back in so that someone else can use it the next time around. The other comment to make is the door has a latch on the inside for when you're using it, and they have a latch on the outside for when you're all done using it, so that critters don't end up in there or other debris. Like during autumn, we have all these amazing leaves and all the different colors, but it's good for them to stay outside. So thank you for doing your part to help ensure that these privies last for a long time and they're accessible for all of us.
So one of our other duties is cleaning out the wash pit and inspecting it. We actually installed this one this spring because there wasn't one before. So it looks as though it's doing its job. And
actually, this is all
natural stuff.
gravel.
All right, so maybe somebody's panning for gold. But so Tupt is working on cleaning out the fire pit. We dig out the ashes and scatter them throughout the woods and just try to make the pit more usable. Don't want to have a big spread out area, and we also just make sure that people didn't make any new fire pits around the campsite, and it doesn't appear that they have. So we've come and cleaned, checked the shelter, but there's still no power in the outlet. Charging ports aren't working. Just, a little disappointing. But despite that, you can still leave a message in the shelter book. Put your entry in. It's nice to read what other hikers are doing, and there's a nice new book in here just started today. Just came to check out the water source. Pipe in there is water's flowing well. Nothing's blocking the pipe. Pretty easy spot to fill up. Last spring the pipe was broken and had to get put back in. So making our way up to the long trail now from the shelter, just to make sure that the trail is in decent shape, that there's nothing crowding the trail as far as vegetation or trees down over it. And once we do that, we'll head back to the campsite and hike out. Reached the end of the New Boston Trail where it meets the Long Trail. Signs are going to have to be updated because Sunrise Shelter is now less than 6.3 miles from here because they moved it, built a new one. So that's Long Trail North, Long Trail South, and the new Boston Trail. Time to head back down to the vehicle. Well, saying so long to David Logan Shelter until the spring, and we'll come up and do it all again to get it ready for the summer hiking season. Down the trail we go. Made it back to the parking lot. Our work is through. Unfortunately, there is a lot of trash here at the parking lot, and we are not going to pick it all up ourselves. This is a smaller pile. Apparently a clothes drying rack, golf clubs, a small table, some sort of box, and then a couple of big burn piles. Somebody burned a table. And looks like a folding chair. Part of a bicycle in here by the looks. Pretty sad. And then there's another big mound over there.